A fine first move by your opponent. Responding with your own pawn and creating a balanced position. Developing the knight is one of many strong ways of controlling the center. Developing the knight and increasing influence in the center. Their queen moves into the game, develops the knight and attacks the center. Their knight comes into play, attacking the center. Your bishop is ready to be developed to an active square. Their bishop moves into the game. That's a useful pin you found. Their better move was to kick a bishop. It's good to get your queen off of its starting square and into the action. They kick your bishop with a pawn, forcing it to move or be captured. You ignore the threat and counterattack their queen, moving their threatened queen to safety. That was an even swap of material. Recaptures. With that move, you chase the bishop away. You are forced to double pawns. You recapture the piece, attacking your pawn chain. You had a chance to play something better. This is a fair trade. Recapturing. They missed a chance to capture a pawn and win material after the follow-up trades. A logical capture. This move gives you the opportunity to win their pawn. You've just allowed your pawn to be taken without a fight. You had an opportunity to capture a free pawn. They took your pawn for free. Not the best move, but not bad either. Their best option was to castle queenside. You are now able to develop a piece while also winning a tempo on a queen.
Dalawa na yata
Developing is
ano
good
niya,
and even
Raymond.
better with that tempo on a queen.
Dalawa na yata anak ni Raymond.
Tatlo. Dalawang babae.
Tatlo ba?
They move the queen to safety.
Yung bunso, itong lalaki.
Makulit na.
You are threatening to win a bishop by kicking a key defender.
Oo.
You get a chance to win a bishop by
Talo ng
kicking a
talo
key
niya anak niya
defender.
na.
Sinusulit na ni Raymond ah.
Oo,
By
pabalik
kicking
na
that
dito
critical
yan eh.
defender with your pawn, you will win a bishop. This move puts their queen on a safer square. You captured a free bishop. They slipped up a bit here. Not the worst move, but definitely not the best. You captured that free pawn. Your opponent created a passed pawn, giving it a clear path toward promotion. Your rook is now developed, bringing all pieces to the board, capturing your hanging pawn. You're going to end up losing a bishop. This is the only good move. This move puts their rook on a safer square. This is a good time for you to get out of trouble. Their best option was to capture a rook that was threatening to win material. You found a safer square for your queen. They missed a chance to capture a free pawn. Your rook is no longer hanging and is now defended. They took your pawn for free. You permitted the opponent to capture a rook and win material after the follow-up trades. They capture your rook and will win material after all trades are completed. You recaptured. A clear recapture. This is a fine move. They made one of the top moves in this position. You escaped the check from the queen. I like their choice. You step your king away from the checking queen. Your opponent pinned your bishop, limiting its movement. You dodged the check, moving your king out of harm's way. They played one of the best moves here. You escaped the check from the queen. That's not a mistake, but they did not find the best move here. You step your king away from the checking queen. They made one of the top moves in this position. You dodged the check, moving your king out of harm's way. I like their choice. You escape the check from the queen. Their pawn attacks your bishop, kicking it out of its current position. This is a good time for you to get out of trouble. This move pins your bishop, adding pressure to your position. You permitted the opponent to win material through a fork. Your opponent set up a fork, which will win material. You allowed the opponent to force eventual checkmate. They missed a chance to force eventual checkmate. A good choice to move your threatened queen. They stopped the check by interposing a piece between your queen and their king. You allowed the opponent to checkmate the king. They missed a chance to checkmate the king. You step your king away from the checking queen. They missed a chance to win a queen through a skewer. You dodge the check, moving your king out of harm's way. A correct move to get their queen out of harm's way. This blocks the check from the queen. They correctly declined the trade. This move is okay, but not what I would have played. You can pick up a free rook. That rook was yours for the taking. That was the only move. Good job, that's what I would have played too. They moved their king out of the check from your queen. Your pawn is no longer hanging and is now defended. Their king steps away from the check by your queen. This move doesn't hurt you much, but it doesn't help either. They played one of the best moves here. You escape the check from the queen. Precise move from your opponent. You step your king away from the checking queen. They made one of the top moves in this position. You force the checking queen away with a pawn push. They move the queen to safety. You dodge the check, moving your king out of harm's way. I like their choice. You escape the check from the queen. They played the strongest move available. You step your king away from the checking queen. Their better move was to push a passed pawn. You dodge the check, moving your king out of harm's way. Your opponent had only one good move there, and they missed it. You escape the check from the queen. They are right on target. You had a better way to evade the check from the opposing queen. They didn't find the right idea. This was the only move. Decent move, but they had a better one. You step your king away from the checking queen. Their trade leaves them in a hopeless pawn endgame, with no room to complicate matters. A clear recapture. That's quite an error. Now's your chance to capitalize on it. Passed pawns must be pushed. This move doesn't help their position at all. Your passed pawn is one step closer to promotion. You get a chance to force eventual checkmate. Your opponent will be forced into checkmate if you find the right moves. That was the only move. You continue the checkmate attack. They move their king out of the check from your queen. You are threatening to force eventual checkmate. Their move stopped you from being able to force eventual checkmate. This isn't a mistake, but there was something better for you. Their best option was to create a passed pawn. You had a better option, but this is not bad. Their king steps away from the check by your queen. Well done, an excellent move. They move their king out of the check from your queen. You want a pawn for free. Pushing their passed pawn. Not the best move, but not bad either. Their passed pawn moves closer to promotion, becoming more dangerous. You allowed the opponent to promote a pawn to a queen. The pawn is now promoted to a queen. This move lost the advantage, and now you stand equal. They missed a better way to evade the check from the opposing queen. You are threatening to force eventual checkmate. They prevented you from being able to force eventual checkmate. You missed a better way to evade the check from the opposing queen. They missed a better way to move a queen to a more active position. Your best move was to block a check from the opposing queen. This is the only move that works. You dodge the check, moving your king out of harm's way. Their better move was to move a queen to safety. You capitalized on the mistake and are now clearly winning. You shield your... They exchange pieces of equal value. You recapture the piece. They exchange their better move. You capitalized on the mistake and are now clearly winning. You shield your king by blocking the check from the queen. They exchange pieces of equal value. You recapture the piece. You're now able to promote a pawn to a queen. Your pawn reaches the back rank and promotes to a queen. Precise move from your opponent. You had a checkmate, but this lets your opponent out of immediate danger. They had a better way to evade the check from the opposing queen. Your opponent made a mistake, but you missed the chance to punish them. Their king steps away from the check by your queen. This move is okay, but not what I would have played. They missed the right idea here. Makes your life much easier. Your opponent slipped up, but you didn't take advantage of it. This seems like a mistake to me. You're still on the road to checkmate. They played the strongest move available. Your opponent is lucky you did not spot the checkmate. You are now able to force eventual checkmate. You continue the checkmate attack. They move their king out of the check from your queen. You're still on the road to checkmate. They are right on target, getting closer to the forced checkmate. Their king steps away from the check by your queen. You had a checkmate, but this lets your opponent out of immediate danger. They move their king out of the check from your queen. Very good choice. You had the upper hand, and now your position is winning. You missed a chance to punish your opponent's error. Your opponent's position went from bad to worse, and is now losing. There was a moment to punish your opponent's error, but you let it pass.
No more time here. And we are the winner. Yun na.